Today we're going to make cashew pork with this delicious toasted rice. If you've never tried toasted or roasted rice before, you have a lot to gain from this recipe. And the cashew pork is one of my favorite simple stir fries. It's really nuts. Let's go ahead and get started here with our toasted rice. In a medium pot, we want about 2 tablespoons of butter or other oil of your choice. Once that butter gets nice and melty for us, we're going to go ahead and add 1 cup of rice. And we want to turn the heat down to medium-low, otherwise it's a little too easy to scorch this. We're going to mix this around to get all those grains covered in our hot oil, and we want to cook this for between 5 and 10 minutes, depending on how toasty you want your rice. My favorite method to do this is to give the pan a little shake to spread out the rice and maximize the surface area contact we're getting with the pan, and then I just let this sit for a minute or 2 before stirring it again. At first, we'll just see some light browning and a slight nutty aroma. Well, just keep going. The browning is going to accelerate as the temperature slowly rises in our pan, so don't walk away and forget about this on the stove. How toasty you want your rice is up to you. After 10 minutes, this is what mine was looking like, and this is where I like to stop. As you can see, it's beautifully brown and it will have a noticeable nutty aroma. In fact, if you were using butter, it's also broken down a little bit and browned along with the rice, giving you a kind of a double nutty flavor action. We can see the rice got to a nice amber color. That's really what we're looking for right there. And you remember how I said the temperature was rising in our pan? Well, I wasn't kidding. Be careful when you add your 2 cups of water. And through the fog of war here, I'm going to also add about a teaspoon or so of salt. Once that comes up to a simmer, we're going to slap a lid on here, cut the heat down to low, and cook it until all the water is absorbed, about 17 minutes or so. Which is the perfect amount of time in which to make our cashew pork, which means if we time this correctly, we can have the entire dish ready in about 30 minutes. In our pan, we want about 1.5 tablespoons of oil. I'm using a wok here today, but any pan would work just fine for this. With our pan hot, let's go ahead and start adding our vegetables, starting with 1 chopped green pepper. Next up, we have 1 whole onion. I figured we could just kind of pop that in there, along with 2 or 3 cloves of crushed garlic. For our pork, I have some pork loin that I've cubed up and seasoned with salt and pepper. A lot of pork chops you see in the store will be pork loin chops, so you can simply dice those up. And last but not least, about 2.5 ounces of cashews. Now, yes, you could use whatever nut you would like here, but hey, it's cashew pork. We want to stir fry this over very high heat and hope we season that wok well enough so things don't stick. And sometimes, depending on how hot you're able to get your range, I like to let it kind of sit for a minute to develop color on one side, similarly to how we did with the rice. So we'll just continue to stir fry, and after about 10 minutes, our onions should be turning translucent and we'll have some nice color on our pork. At this point, we're going to finish it off with a couple of glugs of soy sauce. I'm pretty sure that's the technical term for it. You get a little extra sodium and a lot of extra umami from that soy sauce, especially as you cook it and kind of caramelize it here at the end. I guess you could skip that part, if you just hate flavor. So go ahead and stir fry about another minute, and then our cashew pork is ready to serve along with our toasted rice. These two really pair perfectly together. The slight nuttiness from that toasted rice just goes wonderfully with that cashew pork. And if you've never tried preparing your rice that way, I highly recommend it. It's an easy way to take regular rice and just make it a little extra special. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. If you have, don't forget to give me a thumbs up below, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you don't miss our future videos. And check out one of our other great recipes playing on the screen now. This has been Graham with Passion for Food.